Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Bell. Today is Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do it by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. So we've called the meeting to order. We'll check in with our commissioners. Commissioner Scar, good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Olson, good morning.
Good morning, ready to go.
All right. And with that, we'll jump right in with Adventist Health Tillamook and President Eric Swanson.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
9 patients in the hospital today. We have 7 surgery cases scheduled. Our ambulance crews did 6 911 transports yesterday, 1 transfer, 1 transport home. And this morning across Oregon, there's 108 patients boarding in emergency departments. That's 21 more than yesterday. 378 patients who are discharge delays, and they're ready to go home, but no place to go. Sorry about that. No change from yesterday. Last week, I shared with you that it was hospital week, and one of the things that we do every year during hospital week is we award one of our nurses the Daisy Award, and it's a national recognition. It's a national program, I should say, for recognizing nurses who provide exemplary care. This year, we had 21 different RNs nominated for this award, and it was exciting to give the award to Lauren Walker. And for those of you who are friends and family of Lauren, she goes by Ren, and she is one of our RNs who works in ICU and Med-Surg. And she's worked for us for the last 10 years, and she is an amazing nurse. Her peers shared that she has an amazing ability to connect with her patients. She's always the first to respond to a bed alarm or an IV pump alarm, and is always willing to pitch in and help no matter what the circumstance is. So we congratulate Ren on this being our 2024 Daisy Award-winning nurse. So with that, unless you've got questions, I'll go back on mute.
Thank you, Eric, and congratulations to Ren. Do we have any questions for Eric? Well, Eric, while we have you, I just wanted to say that in the past week, I've been in several meetings and events with Adventist Health Tillamook staff. So I wanted to uplift them and let you know what a pleasure it has been to be out and about in the community with Adventist Health staff. On Friday, I was at QPR training, which is Question, Persuade, Refer, and that's for suicide awareness prevention and learning how to talk to people who we think might be having suicidal thoughts, etc. So I was at this QPR training, and I sat down at a table with 2 women I didn't know, and they were Bridget and Abby from Adventist Health Tillamook. And it was a pleasure. Yeah, it was really delightful to meet both of them. It was a pleasure to work with both of them. And I just thought they were wonderful. And then also I saw Bridget 2 more times in a couple more days. Bridget came to the Tillamook Serenity Club fundraiser on Sunday, and it was lovely to see her there. And then she was also at the LPSC meeting yesterday, which is the Local Public Safety Coordinating Council, introducing herself. So she is getting out and about and meeting everybody and just making great impressions and good contacts everywhere. And I wanted you to know.
Thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate both of them being out in our community and good representatives for Adventist Health. And we want to be always the best community partner we can be. So thank you for that, Commissioner.
You are welcome. Okay, well, if we don't have any other questions for Eric, let's move into the Coastal Caucus. Senator Weber, are you with us this morning?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning and happy Election Day.
Thank you to you also.
Day. Yes, and I unfortunately have been hearing a lot of flap saying that voter participation is predicted to be very low. And remember that all of you can do something about that. It is the primaries, but it's going to determine a lot of what's going to happen into the future. And I think that we all need to have a say in that. And so if you haven't voted, dig that ballot out, fill it out, and get it to one of the boxes that we have scattered throughout the county, and put your ballot in there. Remember that the postage is being paid on those ballots. However, I wouldn't depend on that to get your ballot securely to the place it needs to be by the time it needs to be there. So get it to one of those ballot boxes that the county has provided for us to make it easy. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Oregon Employment Department's new computer program. You know, they had a lot of problems. We saw that especially through COVID. Well, those problems didn't go away. And we have a new computer program in place, and it's called Francis. And once again, we're having difficulties. And as a result, they're cutting back on the time that they're available to take phone calls. They won't be taking phone calls on Mondays, and they'll be reducing the time by 2 hours a day starting June 4th that they're going to be taking phone calls. It's very disconcerting. People are hurting. We are hearing a lot from our constituents, especially about families moving forward, needing resolution to their claims so that they can have food on the table and pay the rent. And so we have written letters to the governor and to the employment department, encouraging them to make some more changes to be able to meet the needs of the people, so that people aren't waiting nearly as long as they have been. And one gentleman told me that what he did to resolve his issues was he just found where their office was and went there. And his problems were taken care of by walking into the office and speaking with an actual person. So, that is always an option. We don't have to do everything on the telephone. We can make that personal contact. So let's hope some of that gets resolved soon. I want to praise this community. We always have the ability to raise money for worthy causes. Rotary had a fundraiser this weekend. Search and Rescue had a fundraiser this weekend. The Serenity Tea was this weekend. And I want to honor all of those people who put these things together and make them such a success. I know that I got to work at the Search and Rescue one along with my fellow commissioners, candidates, and great people. Reconnected with one of my former first graders in working, and it was just such a pleasure to see everyone having such a good time and being so willing to be able to help to support the causes that we have within the community. And Nelia from Pacific Restaurant was presented with a special medal honoring her for her community service. She does a wonderful job. I just cannot commend her enough. The award was richly deserved. She does a lot for this community because she was an integral part of two of those special events for fundraising this weekend. Last week, I got to go to the Rock Creek Water Resource Recovery Facility and their clean water services, and see how they successfully serve 600,000 clients and their sewer issues. And it was very enlightening. And I know that all of our sewer plants are just little along the coast especially are just little parts of that big plant. But it was really interesting to see how they are making it all work for that large of a community. And I'm always talking about infrastructure. And so it was interesting to see how they are making sure that they have the funds with what they are producing there, because some of their water goes to make beer, and they're taking the phosphorus and making a fertilizer product. All of the opportunities that they have to be able to use and reuse that water safely. It was really, really interesting. There were about 30 of us there that were on the tour. And like I say, I learned a lot. The other opportunity I got last week was to attend the CEDAR banquet. And the CEDAR is the Clatsop Economic Development Group. And they had their awards ceremony. And they awarded 17 businesses, honoring them for their contribution to economic development. And it was really interesting to see the variety, the dynamics, and how pleased and grateful people were for those awards. I also continue to work on all my task forces, hunger, absenteeism in our schools, substitute teachers, and the Governor's Council on Literacy. There's going to be a lot of reports and a lot of information given in the next week, because next week is what is called Ledge Days, when we go back to Salem to have committee reports, reports on how bills and actions that we voted on last session are being put to work, and meetings with constituents, organizations, lobby, because this is the time when a lot of bill concepts are being brought forward, and we began to craft them. And it's also the time when we're made aware of special projects that are going to need funds and support. And so it's going to be a really busy week next week. I always look forward to it because I learn so much and I get to meet so many people. And it's really awe-inspiring to see the vast variety of issues that people are dealing with. And when I say awe-inspiring, we have a lot of heroes out there that are dealing with things that we can't necessarily really understand, that need help. So with that, I'm going to say once again, get your ballot in there. It's election day. Vote. Make a difference. Prove the pundits wrong when they say we're going to have a low turnout for voting on this election. And thank you once again, Martin. Martin is here today because I'm in Albany. My daughter fell while she was mowing the lawn on Sunday and broke her arm, and so she's needed some extra help. And so Martin is my constant companion. So thank you all for once again having this opportunity to be with you. Any questions?
Senator, thank you. I'm sorry to hear that your daughter fell and broke her arm, and I'm so glad that you can be there with her. That's wonderful. And Martin kindly waited until the end of your talk to speak up, so that was thoughtful of him.
He did. He did. He wasn't so kind yesterday in all of my meetings, unfortunately.
Well, thank you for talking about Election Day today. I'm really support what you had to say about encouraging everybody to turn in your ballots. It's Election Day. It's not too late. Turn in your ballots. Do we have somebody unmuted? I think we might. There we go. Thank you. I encourage everyone, like the senator said, to turn in your ballots today. It's not too late, and you can even still mail them today, but they have to be postmarked by today. So if you're mailing them, go into the post office and make sure that, sometimes when you mail things, they don't actually get postmarked until the next day. So I agree with the senator. I encourage everyone to exercise your right to vote and speak up and be heard through your vote. And also, you were talking about Ledge Days and this being the beginning of when you're gathering ideas for legislative concepts. And I wonder if people who are listening have thoughts about things they'd like you to work on in Salem. How do you want people to engage with you? How do you want people to reach out to you if they have ideas about legislation?
Well, a lot of people have reached out already, and they can always reach out through my legislative email, and that's probably a better way to do it than to leave a message on the phone, because we don't always get those messages on the phone in a timely manner. So it's sen.suzanne.weber at oregonlegislature.gov. You can always reach me there, and we have someone reading those emails and putting that to work every day.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the senator? If not, I'll say thank you so much for being with us. We wish your daughter a rapid recovery. And I'll ask now if we have Representative Javdi with us.
I am here.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It was a good reminder about legislative days. It is next week. It's a good opportunity to get back together, and we do kind of catch up on what's been happening with the government in the last 2-3 months while we've been back in district. And it is a good time to reach out to your legislators, both Suzanne and I, with any concerns you might have or ideas as our deadlines start to approach this fall for getting that legislation kind of ink on paper so that we can talk about it next session. So please do reach out. I know the senator and I love to hear from you. So an email, she's right, is the best. In that vein, I've got a couple of ideas cooking. Some of them are pretty fresh. Some are a little bit more advanced. We'll be working, of course, on legislation to try to mitigate the effects of the Habitat Conservation Plan. We have some housing legislation that we're working on to cut red tape and get more funding for infrastructure in the North Coast. We've got next week a panel that I don't want to put Commissioner Scar on the spot, but I think she's been invited to, and hopefully she can be there to tell legislators about what unique challenges face the coast. I know when they were looking for people, I said, we've got some great leaders on the coast, and let me reach out to them. And so we're hoping that we can get some people weighing in to really say, why is the coast different than the Willamette Valley and the rural areas? And, we have an ocean on one side, we have mountains on the other, and we don't have much room in between. So we really need unique solutions for the unique challenges that we face here on the coast. So looking forward to that discussion. I'm also I'm interested in introducing an idea this next fall to make school lunches free for all students, regardless of income level. Make that a permanent fix in Oregon so that kids don't have to worry about getting breakfast or lunch. Regardless of income, they can show up and there'll be breakfast or lunch for them on any school day of the year. So I'm going to be putting some finishing touches on that and having discussions with other members of the legislature to see if we can get something like that passed in Oregon. It's already passed in 10 other states, and I think Oregon really ought to consider being a part of that early group of states that have seen the value and importance of making sure children are well fed at school. Last week I had a lengthy discussion with individuals about prescription drugs. and the lack of affordability, I think is the best way to put it. And it is definitely something that continues to put a lot of pressure on our most disadvantaged Oregonians from birth till our oldest years, and we want to continue to shine a light on that because we need these life-saving drugs that both improve life, quality of life, but also, like I said, save life. One of the things we did last session was, and that I was sponsored and voted for, was our insulin affordability bill, which now caps drugs like insulin at no more than $35 a month. And that's just a fantastic example of where patients who need insulin to live no longer have to worry about if they can afford it, and they can have a regular life and not spend the biggest chunk of their pocketbooks on these drugs just to stay healthy. And so we're looking at more ways to limit the cost of prescription drugs. I also had a discussion last week with an individual to talk about our utility bills. If anybody, like most of us know, the power bill keeps going up, and there's a variety of reasons for that, but it's definitely something that's on the desk, my desk, I'm sure Senator Weber's desk as well, as what do we do to make sure that we have reliable power at an affordable cost, so that we can make sure our homes are heated and lighted, et cetera. So that's an ongoing issue. Looking forward to hopefully getting some legislation in the next session that'll help with that issue. In the same vein, I know we brought it up last week, but just a reminder, this week on Friday, Senator Weber, myself, and others will be going to Salem to meet former Senator Betsy Johnson will be there as well, meet with the Oregon Department of Forestry and other agencies to discuss the cell phone towers up on Highway 6 to make that commute over there safer and have better cell phone access. And I know we discussed other opportunities in the county, so that's exciting. I really feel like we've got the energy right now to make this project a reality. I think it's been far too long, and one of the things I wanted to do when I was elected in office is make sure we did something to make Highway 6 safer, so that if you hear about it, and how many times we look on Facebook, we see that there's been an accident, and we're all wondering if it's our loved one, and we want to know what color the car was, and et cetera. And we're hopeful now that discussions like that won't leave us waiting with anxiety to find out if it's somebody we know, and we'll be able to get medical assistance up there a lot faster than we can now. So I'm looking forward to seeing that come to fruition. And then I did attend the Cedar banquet with Senator Johnson last week, or Senator Weber. But it went fantastic. Good group of people up there in Clatsop County, just like down here in Tillamook, who care about their small businesses and want to recognize the hard work that goes into running the business and how important that is to the economy here on the coast. And so that was wonderful to be part of. And lastly, the election. There's been a lot of emails and texts and phone calls this week about our primary election. Not necessarily who they plan to vote for, but concerns of that what they're hearing in the news from Oregon Public Broadcasting, and as well as the Oregonian and others, had really reported two big issues. One was, hey, they're holding our ballots, and that was because the state was, it turns out, according to the news, was not paying the postage in a timely way, and the post office was going to wait till they paid that postage before they sent that on to the counties. And then the second issue, my understanding is that over in Willamette Valley, the mail sorting machines were inaccurately or not sorting and reading the mail correctly, and some of those ballots were getting returned to the original voters without getting to the counties. And so I agree with Senator Weber. Make sure you get that dropped off in the boxes if you haven't already. It does raise some concerns, though, about election, having faith in the system. Right now, the latest news report I read this morning was that 69% of Oregonians support mail-in ballots. And then the Supreme Court today denied, or yesterday denied, hearing the case that would determine whether or not mail-in voting disenfranchises people. I know there's a lot of concern in every election cycle we hear about people worried about, is mail-in voting safe and secure? And when we have things like this happen, it really can start to undermine that confidence and erode it. So I'm not saying that anything fraudulent is happening, but it definitely is concerning that we have these issues, and it does make people wonder if their vote's going to get counted, et cetera. And I want you to know Senator Weber and I are definitely working on this problem. We've reached out to the Secretary of State. We've reached out to other legislative leaders, and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that we, maintain the integrity of the system and listen to the voice of Oregonians. And when Oregonians want to keep mail-in ballots, and there's not a lot that we want to do to disrupt that, but we do want to make sure that that process is safe and secure. So we'll be working on that again in the upcoming session, but please get your ballots turned in. I'd recommend right now, like Senator Weber said, go down to the boxes and drop them in there. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Representative. Do we have any questions for Representative Javity?
Commissioner, this is Commissioner Olson. Regarding the election, we have Christy Knight as our county clerk on this morning. I'd asked her to speak to the election since it's election day. I wonder if we could put her on now and maybe add a little to what Representative Javity just said.
Absolutely. If Christy's ready, I would love to have her talk, because I just pulled up the information she sent us yesterday, the ballots, percentage of ballots returned as of yesterday. Christy, are you with us?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so it is election day, and yes, there's a lot of talk about some issues with the Postal Service. And so I guess I will just reiterate, but with both Senator Weber and Representative Javity said that use the drop boxes or bring them into the office today if you're going to vote. And Commissioner Bell, like you mentioned, postmarks still do count. And we would encourage, if you're going to be mailing today, to get a physical postmark on that ballot. So if you're going to be dropping them off, please don't just trust that it's going to get postmarked if you drop it in the mailbox late today, but that you would walk it into your post office and actually get a physical hand cancel on that, so that it is marked today, so that when we do get it within the next 7 days, we'll be able to count those. And statewide, there's just low voter turnout this election, unfortunately. But we're just hopeful that Tillamook will kind of boost our numbers today. We've got a lot of ballots coming in this morning. We're collecting from the drop sites and from the mail. And so we are getting ballots today. So our percentage will go up this morning. I'll get that updated hopefully before 11 o'clock, but we'll definitely hit over 20% at least this morning, which I know is low, but we're right at 19.5 right now.
Thank you, Christy. Thanks for joining us and giving us that update. Yesterday, Christy Neiseth is Tillamook County Clerk, if we didn't introduce her previously. Yesterday, she sent us the document that showed percentage of ballots returned as of yesterday. And I was looking it over, and it's very interesting to me that, as you said, there's overall low voter turnout for this primary election. But what was fascinating to me was to observe how the bigger counties have lower turnout and the smaller counties have much higher turnout, largely. Ours is 19 point something, like you said. But for example, Marion has 16.9% turnout. Multnomah has 18% turnout. Washington has 18% turnout. But some of the little tiny counties are just doing great. Baker had 27% turnout. Crook had 30%. Curry 29%. Gilliam 41%. Hood River 29%, et cetera. So it's interesting to, small but mighty. It's just a fascinating document and interesting to see how people are engaging in this election.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yes, it's not what you would typically think. Um,
Right.
and yeah,
And also, I know a lot of people hold their ballots and turn them in person on the day of the election. So I agree with you that you're probably going to get a whole bunch today.
yes, we will. Well, that's our hope. And we are open to the public until 8 o'clock tonight. After 5 p.m. at the courthouse, if you're going to be coming into my office, you'll want to enter that north set of doors. We'll have that door propped open and security will be there. And so you'll want to come in. The normal south entrance will be closed, but it'll be the north set of doors that will be propped open until 8 p.m. tonight. So just that information as well.
Thank you. Hey,
Yes.
while we have you on, could you talk a little bit about recently, a year or so ago, it changed. The clerk's office used to give the preliminary data at 8 and then an update at 11 p.m. or something like that. And then that changed with the vote-in mailing. So can you talk about how people can expect to receive the results and when?
Yes. So at 8 p.m. tonight, we will have the live results will be linked on our website. And so tillamookcounty.gov/clerk and go to the elections tab in the May 21, 2024 primary election. And there will be a PDF document. So we'll have the results printed off and scanned, and those will be linked in a PDF document that you'll be able to look at the initial public results at 8 p.m. tonight. We'll also have the link to the statewide results through the Secretary of State's office. So you'll be able to link to the statewide results. And then our next update will be next Thursday, the 23rd by 5 p.m. Oh, I'm so sorry. We'll have this Thursday's the 23rd. So the Thursday, the 23rd at 5 p.m., we'll have our updated results, the next set for this week. And then we will, depending on returns and how many signature updates or people who didn't sign their ballots, we'll either have results on the 30th or the 31st will be then the second set. And then our next set will be then the first week of June.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Any
you're welcome.
questions for Christy? Okay, and also thank you to Representative Javity. I don't know if you're still with us, but thank you for being with us this morning. And also, I was fascinated by what Representative Javity said about doing legislation to give all children in schools free meals. I really appreciate that. I'm very grateful for that effort. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thanks for being here. And Christy, thanks for the update, and appreciate all that the county is doing. I know this is a busy time, and thank you to the clerks. And if anybody needs anything, please feel free to reach out offline or come into the office, whatever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Representative. We are grateful to have you on the call.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, well then I think we are ready to move on to Tillamook County Community Health Center. We have Ed with us this morning. Perhaps not. How about Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy?
Oh, Commissioner, the Health Department's here. Oh, sorry.
Oh, good morning, Ed and Gail. Gail, can you pause for a moment?
Will do.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ed.
And good morning, Commissioners, and good morning, Tillamook County. For the Health Department here, health promotion, it is Melanoma and Skin Cancer Detection and Prevention Month. Skin cancer is the most common type of cancer in the United States, affecting over 3 million Americans per year. Melanoma, the deadliest type of skin cancer, is most frequently caused by overexposure to UV rays or ultraviolet rays from the sun. With Memorial Day next Monday, often considered the unofficial start of summer, it is important to take action to protect your skin. So please visit our Facebook page to find tips for protecting your skin. And if you have a skin concern, Dr. Westrom, our seasonal dermatologist, is back here in Tillamook and has availability in July. So to schedule, please call 503-824-3900. Now, May is Wildfire Awareness Month in Oregon, and that's a crucial time to focus on preparing for wildfire season. This initiative, supported by the Oregon State Fire Marshal and the Oregon Department of Emergency Management, emphasizes creating defensible space around homes to reduce wildfire risk and participating in community preparedness activities. Additionally, the Oregon Health Authority highlights the dangers of wildfire smoke, which can cause serious health issues, especially for individuals with chronic conditions. Reducing exposure to smoke by staying indoors, using air purifiers, and following local air quality advisories can help protect your health during wildfire season. So as Memorial Weekend often brings more visitors and prompts more outdoor activities, please follow state and local regulations and rules on any fire size, fuel, and proper extinguishment. And remember, fireworks are prohibited year-round on all Oregon beaches and Oregon State Park property. And lastly, this coming Monday, May 27th, is Memorial Day. The Tillamook County Community Health Center clinics and offices will be closed that day in observance of the holiday, honoring all who have served in the U.S. military. And then our offices and health clinics will also be closed the morning of Thursday, May 30th, and will open at 1 p.m. Our staff will participate in an important strategic planning session that morning. It's going to help us plan for the future and provide the best services possible to meet our community's needs for the next 3 to 5 years. And with that, that's our health department update. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Ed. Do we have any questions for Ed? If not, we'll move on to Gail Nelson and then Halem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Good morning, Gail.
Yes, good morning, everyone. And our update for this morning from Wheeler is 2 things. On June 23rd, there's going to be a fundraising concert. We're excited to be partnering with Halem Bay Health District and also the North Coast Music Project to bring Rick Estrin and the Nightcats to North Tillamook County next month for a special fundraiser for the new Halem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy, some finishing touches. The concert is Sunday, June 23rd at 3 p.m. at the North County Recreation District's Performing Arts Center. You can learn more about this by visiting our website or Facebook page, and there's details there about how to purchase tickets. And also, it's the summer, so almost summer. We're starting our walking group again, Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. The community is invited to join our wellness team for weekly walks that explore different locations across North Tillamook County. You can also see more information on our Facebook page or website for the location. And as you may be aware, there are other walking groups across Tillamook County, and you can learn more about those at tillamookcountywellness.org. And that's it for me this morning. And thank you, Christy, for our update about voting. And it is turning mine in today, and excited to learn more about the results.
Thank you, Gail. Do we have any questions for Gail? If not, we can move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Frank Hanna Williams.
Good morning, Commissioners. Frank Hanna Williams.
Good morning.
Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. You can reach us at 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851 for information regarding services, appointments, and other information. I want to draw your attention to our website. That's tfcc.org. There is information there about the agency, but there also is specific information regarding the we are poised for the beginning of the wait list for Turnstone Commons. Turnstone Commons, the previously known as the Kilchis House for supportive housing for Tillamook County residents, and information regarding the process, application, and other information about that service. So please, with the plan being that the waiting list will be open on the 29th, please make note of the other information regarding Turnstone, and that is on the website. If you have other questions regarding that, you can reach us at, again, 503-842-8201. And please make note of the information that is on the website. That is the most current information regarding Turnstone. And I will take take questions if you have any.
Thank you, Frank. Do we have any questions for Frank? Well, I don't have a question, Frank, but I wanted you to know that I attended the QPR training on Friday at Tillamook Bay Community College. Sarah Ermer taught the training, and she did such a good job. So I just wanted you to know. She said she'd only taught it a couple of times, but she was very engaging. She did a good job explaining the information and helping people practice the scenarios. And it's just a pleasure to have her in the community. And so I wanted you to know.
I appreciate that very much. Sarah is one of our newer staff here at the agency, and she has relocated to the community from the Corvallis area. And Sarah has a very strong prevention interest, and also brings the public health background to the position as well. And she has really taken on to that training. You are absolutely right. She has had that training fairly recently, and I'm pleased to hear that it was what you would have intended for that particular training. So I will give her that feedback, and that's always good information to hear.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any other questions for Frank? If not, we'll say thank you, and we can move on to the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Brown, are you with us? Or Under Sheriff Kelly? Oh, I was hoping somebody was with us who could give us an update on the search and rescue banquet. Well, perhaps my fellow commissioners will talk about it. I know at least Commissioner Scar was there, but maybe both of them were there. So let's jump ahead to emergency management. Randy Thorpe, are you with us?
You bet, Commissioner. I'm here today.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Well, with the long holiday weekend coming up, I just want to urge everybody to be very careful while you're out and about, and especially while you're traveling. We're going to see that major influx of visitors that we always see every weekend, but with it being a holiday weekend, I'm sure we'll probably increase the number of visitors that will be traveling through our county. So just be careful out there. And with that, Memorial Day honors the brave men and women who have sacrificed their lives to serve our country. These courageous individuals have given everything they had to defend our freedoms and way of life. Memorial Day reminds us of the high price of freedom and the debt of gratitude we owe to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. The day to reflect on their sacrifice and to honor their memory with gratitude. So I hope we keep that in mind through this weekend and remember those who have fallen for our country. Also today, our TC4 group will be meeting, and they are going to start their planning process for the Great Shakeout of 2024. The exercise drill that they prepared last year was so successful, they're starting some planning early so they can top that and come up with another excellent drill for county-wide participation during the shakeout. And that will be on October 17th this year. So with that, I'll turn it back to Commissioner Bell.
Thank you, Randy. I was very pleased to see that the TC4 group is already planning for the next shakeout event, because it was outstanding last year, and I'm encouraged that we will continue with that momentum and continue to grow that event, which was a tsunami evacuation event countywide in conjunction with the Great American Shakeout. And the first one was great, and I expect them to continue to grow and be really, really helpful in terms of our community being able to practice evacuation. So thank you.
You bet. And I know that group will come up with some great ideas for this fall. So just stay tuned on that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hey, before we move on to the Board of Commissioners report, I would like to introduce the new Tillamook County Parks Director, Dan Keyes. You have been hearing me talk about on this radio show for 6.5 months that I've been the interim Parks Director, and now we have a real Parks Director. And I invited him onto the call and would like to give him the opportunity to introduce himself, say hi to the community. Dan Keyes, are you with us?
Commissioner Bill, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great. Well, first of all, thanks for introducing me. I would like everybody to know that hopefully over time I'll get to meet everybody. I want to let you know that I've been here for a little over 2 weeks, certainly getting my feet under me. I'm really happy and excited. Both my wife and I are to be here in Tillamook County. The job is fantastic. What a beautiful setting. The crew that we have is absolutely amazing. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a park crew that has much talent as these folks do. So I'm excited about that. We're still a challenge filling some of our seasonal positions, but we're working on it. We're really looking forward and working hard to be prepared for this coming weekend with the long holiday and the number of visitors that we're going to get. So again, happy to be here and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dan. It is a pleasure to have you here. And I really appreciate what you said about our extraordinary parks crew. I agree completely. We are blessed with really great employees. So thanks for being here and thanks for introducing yourself to the community.
Yes, thank you very much.
With that, we will move on to the Board of Commissioners reports. Commissioner Scar, would you like to begin?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And I will follow up on the Star Banquet. It was a great event. I didn't do a complete head count, but just based on the number of tables that were there and that were full, I'm going to guess we were at probably about 220 people just at the back of the envelope. So I'm sure the sheriff can catch us up on that next week. But it was a full room, needless to say. It was a great event. Lots of folks having a really good time. As Senator Weber reference, Nelia received a fabulous award, and we do all know how much she does for our community. So it was great to be there and be a part of her receiving that and a part of her serving crew that evening to make sure the event was well served, if you will. So that was great. The other exciting piece of that was Karen Schrader, who is a search and rescue volunteer who has done a huge amount of work in the organization of search and rescue, was honored as their volunteer of the year. So if you know Karen, she is also the United Paws director. If you know her and run into her out there, be sure to congratulate her on her volunteer of the year award. So again, great event. I don't know how much they raised, but I can tell you there was a very live auction. So I'm certain that the proceeds were certainly, I think, what they were hoping for, between $30,000 and $40,000. I can definitely see they could have made that easily. So again, we'll look forward to the sheriff's update on that in a couple of weeks, but great event. Happy to be a part of it. I also had a chance last week to participate on an Oregon Department of Forestry panel, and it was a panel on houselessness. Oregon Department of Forestry has taken very seriously the governor's call to state agencies to look at how they can help for those who are experiencing houselessness, looking at how it crosses over into their realm and their programs and what they can do. So this was an emerging leaders group, and I was there with Marlisa De Jesus from CARE, with our own Officer Billy Cloud from the Sheriff's Department, as well as Savetha from the Governor's Office, and she is one of her housing and houselessness representatives. We were able to talk about state level work and county level work, and then on the ground work with both our Sheriff's Department and CARE as to what the options are for those who are experiencing houselessness. How can we help people such as the folks in the forest who are working in the campgrounds, et cetera, and coming in contact with people who are living there because they have nowhere else to live. So it was a really good conversation, lots of great questions from the Department of Forestry folks. And just, I think, recognizing that at this point, houselessness has grown to such an issue across the state of Oregon that everyone is getting involved in having a role in how we help people move from houselessness to being housed. And it's great and exciting to look and see that our county is a leader in that. It's one of the reasons that they actually came to Tillamook County for this conversation. So I want to thank those who were with me, both Billy Cloud and Marlisa. Okay, and then what else want to talk about? Coming up this Friday is the next meeting of the Forest. I'm sorry, coming up. Yeah, this Friday is going to be the next meeting of the Forest Trust Lands Advisory Committee. And this committee, you can watch this meeting on YouTube if you'd like through the ODF website. What we're going to be talking about this Friday is really shifting the conversation. We've spent a lot of time talking about the Habitat Conservation Plan, a lot of time trying to, sort through what the impact was going to be to counties, making sure ODF knew that. They have now moved the Habitat Conservation Plan forward, and now we move to the next phase of implementation in the forest, really, which is the Forest Management Plan. And so we will be talking this Friday about the goals of the Forest Management Plan, and those will include a conversation about harvest, but also conversation about habitat conservation or habitat preservation, conversations around recreation in the forest. So just really looking at not just harvest, but the full greatest permanent value that this forest is intended for all of the people of the state of Oregon. So this is going to be a broadening conversation, but we are still going to be asking the Board of Forestry for accountability for metrics and targets related to how will we know if the Habitat Conservation Plan is working? How will we be measuring our habitat, our clean water, our native species, and our recreation? How will we know how that's all going? So great opportunity if you're interested in looking at what comes next. How do we work with the Board of Forestry on greatest permanent value, of which harvest is one slice. So that conversation will be starting. It is at 10 a.m. on Friday. And again, you can watch it on the YouTube channel for FTLAC. So invite people to be involved in that. I do want to thank Representative Javity for inviting me to be part of the Ledge Days presentation for housing. So I will be zooming in to that presentation on the 30th of May for the Housing Committee at the state legislature to talk about Tillamook County. We are, again, seen as a leader, in this case, a leader in housing. And there are a lot of questions and a lot of people that want to know, for a small rural community, how are we bringing both affordable and workforce housing developers to our community? Because we are seeing that work that has been happening over the last 5+ years come to fruition, with housing being built, with housing in the pipeline to be built in the next 1.5 years as well. So we do have a lot of housing activity. I realize for a lot of people, you're thinking, really, where? But it is happening. We've opened 106 units in the last 3 years and have another 150 in our pipeline. We have 24 units up in North Tillamook County, the Bayside Commons, that will be opening this summer. So there is a lot happening, and people across the state of Oregon, particularly in rural communities, are looking to us to see how we're doing that. So I'm pleased to be able to be part of Ledge Days and go and share the good work that our Housing Commission and many others have done in Tillamook County to help make that possible. Another meeting I want to touch on quickly happened yesterday, and it was the Local Public Safety Coordinating Council. So we have a meeting monthly for the Local Public Safety Coordinating Council, which has the commissioners, the judges, all different members of law enforcement. It has many of our social service agencies, as well as at-large members of the community that meet just to talk about our systems of law enforcement and how they're going, are there better ways to coordinate, et cetera. And right now, that group is really looking hard at a program called Deflection, which came out of this last legislative session as part of the fix to Measure 110. The Measure 110 bill provides funding for local law enforcement and mental health programs to work together to create something called Deflection, which is intended for someone who may be caught using substances to have the opportunity to make a decision while they're in that initial contact with law enforcement to receive some form of treatment rather than go to jail. So it is a program that requires the participation of your law enforcement, your district attorney, your mental health provider, as well as social service agencies that are providing peers and other pieces around this. So right now, the county is in a conversation about whether or not that is a program we can stand up. So it was a great conversation just to really make sure that everybody was on the same page. And I think one of the things that's very exciting about that is that our law enforcement, our DA, our mental health provider, and our social service providers are all on the same page with the fact that we do want to offer deflection in Tillamook County. We want to get people the support they need and not just plug them into jail and have that revolving door for people who are struggling with substance use and just, find themselves going in and out of jail. That we don't want that for our community. We want people to get the help they need. So that was an exciting conversation. I expect that we will have a funding request to the state that comes out of that to get that planning underway. So that was another great thing I was able to participate in. With that, I am going to hand it back to you, Commissioner Bell. I see we're running long this morning, so I will keep my comments short. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Olson.
Yes, thank you. Good morning again. Just mention a few things as well so we can get everyone in. I was not at the banquet. I had intended to, but some other things came up. I happen to have 2 grandkids that are graduating high school in a few weeks, so preparations to take care of all that and so on. So some things you can't be 2 places at once. I will mention over the last couple of weeks, I've talked about some work I've been doing with our smaller utilities to see a way forward when they lose some of their board members or otherwise have difficulties raising capital funds and just a whole variety of issues in the smaller agencies, and there are well over a dozen in Tillamook County. In Hebo, just to the south of Tillamook, a number of their boards stepped down for various reasons, and they found themselves without a quorum. And they also, I think, lost their bookkeeper and the technician who was keeping some of the equipment running. So I've arranged for a community meeting at 7 o'clock at the Hebo Fire Station on Wednesday evening. And I think also on Wednesday, we, the commission, are going to appoint a couple of board members to get them back to a quorum, and then they can fill in the rest of their board. But there are a number of other issues, and I've been in touch with DEQ and others. So I'm thinking if we're all in a room together, we can work through some of those issues and get Hebo back on track to where they have everything working properly, including safe and treated water and all those kinds of things. So more to come on that. I'll also mention the county budget. We have our next hearing tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, and we'll probably go most of the afternoon, maybe longer. And that is available. If you go to the county's website, you can actually tune in and listen. We do, as of the moment, have a balanced budget. And we have balanced that primarily through moving the money around, taking money out of contingency funds and delaying some other things that we were intending to do. So it's really a stopgap measure. But as I said, the budget will be balanced. But the harder conversation will be what happens next year and the year after that, and how do we look at some things to bring our expenses in line with the projected revenue. And that's always a difficult exercise, but it seems to be getting harder, in part because of the cutbacks in the Tillamook State Forest and also a number of other things. So we'll be looking at all kinds of things up to and including possibly even a 4-day week at the county or shortened hours. Could we combine departments? How long can we go without filling certain positions? Could we eliminate some positions? Some really, really difficult and very disagreeable options, but we have to have a balanced budget, and there's only so much revenue, and there's only so much you can do in a week, or a month, or a year. And so those are the things that we're going to ask our budget committee to help go through the conversation, and at this point, absolutely nothing is off the table, and I expect we won't get it all solved tomorrow, but we'll make a good start. So more to come on the budget. We're also, next subject, looking at a Fair Board interview process. I think they are down at least 1, maybe 2 members of the Fair Board, and of course the fair now is less than 3 months away, so it comes on the second week of August. So it's creeping up on us rather quickly. We're also moving forward on a radio project to replace the two-way communications for public safety across the county. It's over 20 years old. Parts are becoming unavailable. It doesn't work as well as it should, and it's mostly analog as compared with digital, which everything is digital these days. So we're moving forward. We're engaging a firm to help get the message out and talk about what's next and what the costs will be and so on. So more to come on that one. I will also be in Salem Friday at the Department of Forestry, but on another meeting. This will not be the one Commissioner Scar mentioned. There's another group that's coming together to talk about Highway 6 and some cell service and what's happening with fiber and internet on Highway 6 and the forest land that is part of the Tillamook State Forest. So I believe both Representative Javity and Senator Weber will be there along with a number of others. And I will speak to the role of Tillamook Lightwave and some of the fiber and things that are happening that way. So things are happening on Highway 6, and no doubt if you've driven it lately, you've seen the colored conduit coming out of the ground, and that's all part of that project. And I also would like to thank Senator Weber. She got ODOT engaged with that, I think a year, maybe 2 years ago, and they have a plan on servicing Highway 6 and bringing some fiber up that way so that it can be cell service all the way over into the Washington County. And then the last thing I'll mention, I'll be attending a half-day, I think this one's online, of the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management. They're very aggressively putting the wind towers now, taking bids to put them off the southern Oregon coast down around Bandon and up as far as Reedsport. And so eventually, I think they're probably going to look a little further north. And now it's a long-term project, and there are way more questions than answers. But nonetheless, our federal government is pushing that and pushing it rather hard. And they don't seem to pay a lot of attention to what the states and local jurisdictions have to say about it. So, but we need to be engaged and have a seat at the table. And so I will be there. I'll also be down in Newport, I think a couple of weeks after that for the same subject. So they are coming up the Oregon coast. So much more to come on that. So with that, Commissioner Bell, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, I will keep my comments brief also. I had a couple of great opportunities in the last week that I've mentioned briefly already, and I just want to shout out to Amanda Ferret, who organized and led the Hope Fest events this month that were about suicide awareness and prevention in Tillamook County. I was able to attend 2 of those 3 events, and they were terrific. There were a lot of helping agencies there, talking to people, interacting with people, offering services, and it was a very good effort. So bravo to Tillamook County Suicide Prevention Coalition, which you can find online, and they have a Facebook page. That was really well done. And it was good to see the support for that work in the community, because most of us have been impacted by suicide in one form or another. And I also wanted to talk briefly about the fundraiser that I went to on Sunday for the Tillamook Serenity Club. Thanks to Nelia and Pacific for hosting it. That is their regular annual fundraiser. It's a high tea. And the title of it is the Don't Get High Tea, which is pretty clever. And they paused it during COVID, but previously they had it at the fairgrounds. So this was the first time it was at Pacific at Nelia's restaurant. And it was a really nice venue for the event. And it meant that Nelia's staff was preparing the food rather than other folks at the fairgrounds, which was a really nice break for the organizers. But what I wanted to say was that the restaurant Pacific was completely full of people there supporting the cause, and the mission is to I don't have it memorized, but it's to address and eradicate addiction in Tillamook County, and addiction including alcoholism. And the room was full of people, and a lot of people in recovery, and a lot of people who love people in recovery, and a lot of people supporting recovery in general. And I was thinking about how the destructive impacts of addiction, how when somebody has an addiction, whether to alcohol or other drugs, like the negative impacts flow out from them in like a tsunami of negative impacts. And in that room on Sunday, I was thinking about how for all of those people in recovery, that has completely turned around, and the positive impacts of their recovery are flowing out from them to their family, to their friends, to their jobs, to their communities. And the dynamic is completely turned on its head, which is why it's so important to support recovery efforts. So if you have the opportunity to support somebody in recovery, please do. If you know somebody who needs recovery, please refer them to the Tillamook Serenity Club or to Tillamook Family Counseling, etc. And if you have a desire to support the Tillamook Serenity Club and were not able to attend that event, I'm sure you can find them online. They also have a website and a Facebook page. So bravo to everyone who is involved in that. It's sometimes the wonderful things that are happening in the community are largely invisible. And so I just wanted to make that visible for a minute. And with that, we will move on to the reports from the cities. How about Mayor Stock from Manzanita?
Commissioner Bell, this is Linda Kozlowski.
Hey, good morning, Linda. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. We are running late, so I'll be really quick. We have been completed. City of Manzanita has completed or about to complete their conversations with counselors, focused on a prepared food tax coming up. Our last meeting is May 28th at 10 o'clock, and we've been visiting the restaurants as well. And what we hope to do is make a final report in our June council meeting. Our dark sky lighting ordinance for the entire community will go into effect in June. And you can see that the dark sky ordinance on our website. We are finalizing our comprehensive plan and ordinance update, and the Citizens Committee should be meeting in June, and we hope to have a community meeting starting sometime in September. We amended our council rules and procedures for ethics, decorum, and outside statements, and currently the city council is required to meet those requirements. What we have done is we've added our city committees to that same ethics requirement, and PUD has their board meeting in North County once a year, and it's coming up on May the 28th. And the board meeting starts at 6 p.m. at the Pine Grove in Lanita. And Todd Simmons has invited all of North County to come. One of the things, and I'm sure this is all over Tillamook County, but the relationship and the partnership with Tillamook PUD has just been extraordinary. They are an amazing organization. And they are there, whether it's ice or sun, they're there to help us. And so we want to show our support. So we're encouraging everyone in North County to join us at 6 p.m. on May the 28th. And lastly, a kind of an interesting fact. So we have a really vibrant historical society that's resident in Manzanita. I think it's the North Tillamook County Historical Society. I think that's its name. But I just went to a meeting to talk about what's happening and what the historical events that they are focusing on, and they're just doing a great job. But the kind of tidbit that I walked away with, which was really interesting, is that the city of Manzanita actually had the first Black mayor in the state of Oregon. And so I just thought that was a fascinating fact. So with that, I'll close. Thank you for your time. This is such a great way to share information. And we all really appreciate the support of the commissioners. So thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And thanks for that fascinating historical fact. I had no idea the city of Manzanita had the first Black mayor in Oregon. That is fascinating.
It is.
Yeah. I'll just throw this in here. I'm currently reading a book that just won the Pulitzer Prize for biography. It is Master Slave Husband Wife, and it's about an enslaved couple who escaped slavery by impersonating other people, and it's so good. So I'm just recommending it. Master Slave Husband Wife just won the Pulitzer for biography. It's just an amazing story that I hadn't heard before.
Thank you. That's a great recommendation. Thank you.
You are welcome. How about the city of Nehalem? Or Wheeler? Mayor McNeely from Rockaway Beach is unavailable today. How about the city of Garibaldi, rather?
Good morning, Commissioner. This is Leanne Welch, Interim City Manager for Garibaldi.
Good morning.
So at last night's council meeting, the City Council signed a contract with Advanced Excavation to do emergency sewer repair on Highway 101 between 6th and 7th Street. So there will be a 1-lane closure during the day on June 3rd to the 10th for this emergency sewer repair. So watch out for that traffic. And we're also hiring a permanent city manager. We're looking for somebody with some good leadership skills that's got a little bit of everything else, a little HR, some budgeting, knowing a little bit about infrastructure. But it's really an opportunity for somebody to show their team building skills and really working with the council and the citizens. The applications are due June 6th, and go to Garibaldi's website and you can find the job application and more information about that job. And then Garibaldi's also holding their first budget committee meeting next Tuesday, May 28th at 4 p.m. at the City Hall. And so that's it for Garibaldi, and I'm going to turn it over to David McCall, the city manager for Bay City.
Thank you, Leanne.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is City Manager McCall.
Good morning, David.
So last week we had our city council meeting and went quite long, but I'd like to express my thanks to all the citizens who came out. This was probably one of the best attended city council meetings we've had in quite a while, and so there's very good public participation in it. I'd like to recognize that and thank them. Also like to let everybody know this week is National Public Works Week, the week in which we try to do a little extra recognition of our Public Works Department. You know, these are people behind the scenes that are making sure when we turn on the water tap, that good, clean, quality water comes out. When it goes down the drain, that doesn't back up or anything, but it's properly treated before we discharge it. They're the ones that make sure our streets are drivable and walkable and able to be used for bicycles and things. They're the ones that mow the grass so that we can actually see when we're going around. We appreciate all the work that they do. And in recognition of this, tomorrow, Bay City Public Works has invited all of the Public Works employees from throughout the county to come over for a day when we have some fun and some food and some camaraderie and get to know each other a little bit better. For that. And the last item I have for you this morning at 9:30, we will begin our coffee with the mayor and city manager here in Bay City at the community hall. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. How about the city of Tillamook, Nathan George?
Good morning, Commissioner. You hear me okay?
Good morning, we can.
Thank you. Sometimes it takes me a bit to get unmuted there. Yes, I do. I wanted to provide an update on both the council meeting and our budget committee meeting last night. Both actually went very quickly. The budget committee, we had the election of budget officers. We held the public hearing on state revenue sharing only. Nobody spoke. And then we had requests to recommend the city's fiscal year 24 to 25 municipal budget to city council. That was actually a pretty good discussion and actually really good, went through really well. We have a balanced budget as usual. However, we do have many areas where we really need more resources, but those are future discussions with the budget went well. Also wanted to just update the community. We've talked about city council, but next year we'll be moving to a biannual budget on the same schedule as the state, which a lot of cities have done as well. So next year we'll be doing a 2-year budget, so we're excited about that. At the regular council meeting, and by the way, that biannual budget's helpful because it's essentially the same thing every year. It's just only doing it every 2 years instead of every year, which saves a lot of staff time and saves resources as we're quite short on resources. At the public meeting, or excuse me, well, it's a public meeting, but the regular council meeting, we had the request to approve the Veterans Memorial Public Art Display. So, as most of you probably know, our Councilor Doug Henson, who passed away sadly in April, had started working on he raised all the money and everything needed to put in the Veterans Memorial kind of a public art display over on what is typically referred to as Shell Island, but is the ODOT right-of-way that sits on First Street between Pacific and Main Avenue there by the light, the ODOT light. So at any rate, the city signed a 10-year right-of-way permit to have that there. But anyway, that was approved, went through our planning process, was approved, and Councilor Nick Torres is following up on that. He was working with Councilor Henson before he passed, and so we're excited. Council approved that, and they'll be going forward. In fact, it's likely that the concrete may very well be pouring this month. So we're excited to see that, and especially honor everyone, especially Doug Henson. Also, in the police department, this past week, the police department had a quarterly meeting. And actually, if you're not aware of 211, 211 came and made a presentation on our Department of all services provided by 211. And there are actually 9 different numbers, including 911 and 211 and 411. Actually, we're going to put it on our website. But 211 is actually informational that helps you find health and social services. And then you have 988, was the only one that's not a 11, but 988 is for suicide prevention. But actually, there's quite a few numbers. I want to get those up. But anyway, 211 came and made a really great presentation. The representative represents 3 counties, and she's constantly working with everyone to try to get the word out. And they actually have an amazing service that is funded mostly by state funds. So it's a great resource. Officer Fitzgerald attended a training hosted by the Oregon Department of Criminal Justice Internet Crimes Against Children. And this training provided Officer Fitzgerald the knowledge to examine and review electronic devices. This work is very important, and we're proud of Officer Fitzgerald's willingness to do this hard work and training. Lieutenant Drox met with Lexipol, our policy provider, to discuss our wellness program and their potential opportunities with Lexipol. And the reason I give all these dates is because I want the community to know all the things that our police department and all our other departments are doing to keep our community safe and doing the best we can to do provide all of our services. Our school resource officer and Olson and Lieutenant Troxel attended the sexual assault response team meeting. Our executive assistant Larson and Lieutenant Troxel worked on purging records. This task is very important and takes a considerable amount of time. We're doing that all throughout the city offices. Coffee with a Cop was at Starbucks this past week. Thank you to all those who came by and said hello. Starbucks is a great community partner. I was been able to attend the last 2, and I was able to attend this one last week, and it was really great to be there, and really appreciate Starbucks. The point of that is for people just to come in and talk casually and try to get to know and ask questions about the city and about our community. Our executive assistant Larson, Sergeant Hollis, and Lieutenant Troxel attended a drug identification demonstration organized by the Sheriff's Office. We appreciate the Sheriff's Office putting it on. School Resource Officer Olson had a meeting with the Tillamook High School to discuss what went well and where we can improve on the Every 15 Minutes program that was held earlier this month. This program has a great impact on our students. We want to make sure we're doing everything we can to adjust and improve where possible. And finally, in the police department, Lieutenant Troxel attended the county-wide radio conversation updated and provided by the county. Our public safety radio system needs considerable upgrade and replacement. We are excited to hear about the positive movement and path moving forward. In the Public Works Department, door hanger notifications regarding water shutoffs due to late payments will be distributed today around noon. We encourage residents to promptly address any outstanding utility bills to avoid disruption of water services. To pay, please visit our website or call our main office number. As with more sewer lateral lines are being replaced, the city continues collaborating with contractors and homeowners. Please be aware of the increased construction activity around town. For information on road closures or press releases, please visit our website. You can also always email publicworks@tillamook.or.gov. Just one word, publicworks@tillamook.or.gov. This week, the wastewater treatment division is staffed only by one employee, so please be patient with response times. That is a really good point there. One of the things that we went over here about a month ago with the council is talking about one service area, which is our wastewater. And to operate our plant, we actually need 5 people. And to operate our collection system, we need an additional 5 people. We only have 4 people total that perform those services. And so right now, and when someone's out, we have, we only have one person working. So we're definitely helping with other people in the department, but it's difficult. The Streets Division will be placing a steel plate over a sinkhole that is developed on 6th Street between Main Street and Stillwell Avenue. Please be sure to exercise caution when driving over the plate. In April, the Parks and Streets Division patched and fixed 92 potholes, bringing the total number of repaired potholes in 2004, and keep in mind this is not even quite a full 5 months, to 449 potholes on city streets alone. In April, the water treatment plant produced an impressive 38,596 gallons of treated drinking water. This facility is crucial to the city of Tillamook, ensuring residents have safe, reliable, and high-quality water supply essential for daily living, public health, and the community's well-being overall. Cascade Waterworks recently completed a much-needed task of rebuilding the control valves for well 2. This maintenance is essential for the well to operate efficiently, and the control valves managing the water being flushed from the line, and after a set period, gradually direct the water into the system. In the coming weeks, the Cascade Waterworks will return to perform additional maintenance, including pulling the pump for necessary repairs. Also replace the malfunctioning flow meter at the well. This flow meter is crucial for adequately monitoring our low flow and tracking the water produced. And just so you know, well 2 is over on Alderwood, behind the school. We are pleased to inform residents the beginning phase of our Water Well 2 resiliency project is nearing completion. So this project is a significant milestone as we approach the construction phase. In August, we'll be seeking funding for the construction. In the meantime, Well 2 will be offline this week for routine maintenance to ensure water quality and production. And this shutdown will not interrupt water production as Well 3, and the water treatment plant will run at a total capacity. So behind the school, we're also putting in a storage area. And I don't remember how many gallons it is. It's a pretty good size. And it's really essential to our community because we only have one other storage area, which is up at the water treatment plant. So now we'll have an additional a storage area for water down here in the city behind the school, back behind the, I guess it's a softball field, but it also has a disc golf back in that area. At the Public Service Recognition Week earlier this month, which was observed nationally, the first week of May, and as I've said before, it's dedicated to honoring government employees' dedication and all their efforts. And recognition of civic occasion, the city hosted a series of events throughout the week to celebrate and commend the hard work for employees. And we wanted to just say we're really grateful to the companies that provide generous support and donating products and participating in events, helping us to raise awareness of Public Service Recognition Week. So we want to thank everyone who participated, county and state and fire district and Burns Towing and many others who provide services for the public. We also want to extend a special thank you to Denny's Restaurant, Rosenberg Builders Supply, and our Fred Meyer Hypermarket for their donations and support. And just a reminder, our Public Works crews are 6:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. If you have any questions, please contact us by calling our main number or emailing publicworks@tillamook.or.gov. Just a quick reminder that citizens are responsible for the public lateral lines and fixing them. And if they have any questions, they can call us. We do have several positions available online or by stopping by the main city hall. Reminder to see something. If you see something, say something by calling 911 for emergency and dispatch for non-emergencies. And our next regular council meeting will be held on Monday, June 3rd at 7 p.m. And we encourage everyone interested in local government to attend virtually or in person. That's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nathan. Well, with that, we will conclude this call, and I'd like to thank KTIL for broadcasting. Thanks everyone for participating, and thank you Tillamook County for listening. This call is adjourned at 9:24 a.m. Thanks everyone.